Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. Well, the leading global food provider and meat processor, JBS, officially had their public open debut on the New York Stock Exchange. Shares for JBS started out at $13 a share. Last year, the company reported a net revenue of $77 billion and a net income of $2 billion. Since it was founded 70 years ago, the company has grown to be the world's largest meatpacking company. And President Donald Trump recently directed federal wildfire agencies to closely coordinate efforts in the peak of wildfire season. In an executive order, the president directed the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Department of the Interior to consolidate their wildland fire programs within these next 90 days. He also directed the departments to recommend additional measures to advance the order, which might include the new Wildland Fire Service that the administration proposed to Congress earlier this year. And U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins issued a statement in support of the Environmental Protection Agency's highest volume requirements for American-grown biofuels in the Renewable Fuel Standard. Rollins stated that this move by Administrator Lee Zeldin is the boldest proposal ever and will provide certainty in a much-needed market for our producers while delivering lower prices at the pump for consumers. Rollins noted the Department of Agriculture is working to break down tariff and non-tariff barriers for American-grown biofuels, and President Trump's landmark deal with the UK secured zero tariff access for $700 million in ethanol exports. And on Thursday, the latest World Supply and Demand report was released from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The report did show little changes to corn and soybeans from a month ago. Corn yields were unchanged and ending stocks were lowered by 50 million metric ton. Soybean production and usage estimates were unchanged for the U.S., but global ending stocks did climb around 1 million metric ton. As for the wheat stocks, ending stocks were decreased about 20 million bushels from May, but the average yield remained the same. Stay with us. We'll be back with an update on the market reports right after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Well, the cattle futures started off last week on a decent bullish path, but unfortunately Friday afternoon they couldn't hold on to the support. Feeder cattle contracts fell anywhere from $4 to $5, and the live cattle contracts weren't far behind, falling another $3 to $4. Traders seemed convinced that the market was overbought and a correction was much overdue. Cash cattle bids for the week were softer than the expectation, which could have sparked some of the sell-off. Live bids for the week ranged from $238 to $242, with dress bids steady from the previous week at $380. The only optimism that remained in the market on Friday was the box beef values. Choice cutouts were up another 35 cents at $377, which was up $10 from the previous week's close. Taking a look at the local auction barns across the region, Billings Livestock saw just over 2,200 head of cattle come through the ring. Demand for feeder calves did improve from the past couple of weeks. 5-weight feeder steers sold from $381 to $410. 6-weights brought $340 to $371. 5-weight heifers sold from $380 to $411, and mid 8-weight heifers $282 to $284. Young replacement cows sold steady, averaging $189, with some of them bringing north of $240. And we finally have some positive news coming from the grain markets. Corn, soybeans, and wheat futures all took large jumps on Friday afternoon after the Environmental Protection Agency announced their highest volumes required for the renewable fuel standards. Corn contracts traded 5 to 7 cents higher. In soybeans, they jumped nearly 23 cents with the biodiesel targets, along with soy oil getting a boost from the Israel-Iran strikes. Soybean planting should be completely wrapped up for this season. And for the wheat markets, they're all a dime to 20 cents higher, with outside world events boosting the contracts. Hard red winter wheat areas should start to see harvest advance with warmer temperatures ahead of this week. Winter wheat contracts in July were up 18 cents at $5.41, and spring wheat up 13 in July at $6.34. Well, that's all the time we have for Northern Ag TV. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.